So bottom of the third here, and did not see any comments. So I think on some of our outlets we may have been a little bit behind. We are in the bottom of the second, 2-0 Funk. So for those of you who should be catching the stream on Facebook now, and not overhand cut there, hit right to Reese Miles for the first out here in the bottom of the second. So KJ lines out to the short center. So if you're out there and you're picking the stream up, please let me know. Here's JoJo Reynolds, and JoJo, that ball's going to be across the street, almost hit a guy in a bike right by. That would have been bad, real bad. Of course, JoJo got big pop. This short porch in right field, easily reachable for him. And the camera should be fine too. I don't think we're going to have any problems, but I was so hyper-focused on not having the problem with the zoom in that for some reason the tab for Facebook wasn't clicked. But we're only in the bottom of the second, 2-0 Funk. And JoJo swings, and that ball is gone. And that ball might have hit a lamppost up there, 2-1. And we told you at the beginning of the broadcast that very short porch and right. They don't have the concrete like they did on the other side. You can see the fence down there. Anything over the fence is a home run. Where the fence ends and heading out toward that brick building, if the ball shoots through there, it's all you can get. So it's a 2-1 ball game here. JoJo Reynolds, and that ball was well over that fence. That brings up Eric Domingo, the short center. And there's a little chopper. Pitcher knocked it in the air, throw to first in time. Nicely done by the pitcher. He batted the ball in the air. It went so high he had time to look at the runner and gauge how hard he had to throw it to first. So 2 outs brings up the shortstop, Javon Bardney. And there's a swing and a base hit as he strokes a hit in front of the left fielder, Nick Marchese, for a 2-out single. They're going to courtesy run here with Wu. Here's Randy Johnson. Could be Rudy. And there's a little ground ball to second. He's had a busy first couple of innings. He makes the play, and that'll be out number 3. So we're going to head top of the third, still 2-1. So we appreciate you joining in wherever you are on this Saturday. And, of course, NCAA basketball later tonight. So it's nice when we can have a softball tournament that isn't going to conflict with an event that we know everybody's going to eyeball. And my beloved Loyola Ramblers still alive in the NIT. They had a home game on Wednesday against Kent State. Phenomenal experience. Place was jam-packed. About 2,000 kids in the arena making a heck of a lot of noise. And always fun to see a little postseason basketball in your own arena. So here's JT Mazzola. Could be JJ. And there's a sky-high pop-up And making the play over here is the second baseman, Bryce Woods. So here's Zach Coco, the pitcher. After Zach, it'll be the top of the lineup in Nick Marchese Jr. as the sun has peeked through the clouds. And in doing so, all of a sudden we got a brief respite from the breeze as well. Of course, this is the time of the day in the spring and summer where the weather here in Chicago has a tendency to change on you. And there's a little flip shot. Nice catch. Nice sliding catch there by the center fielder. Came racing in and made the catch. So nicely done there on the defensive play. 2 outs, nobody on, brings up Nick Marchese Jr. Nick, an infield single his last time up to start that 2-run first. And there he just sits back and rifles one into center. His second hit of the ball game. Just talking to Nicky Jr.'s father, Nick Sr., coaching third base for Funk. Nicky, one of the all-time greats. And there's a swing and a little flare, and Bryce makes the catch. He ran into the wall, and he dropped the ball. So Bryce caught it, took a step, hit the wall, and dropped it. Umpire called it no catch. Bryce Woods not too happy, but it's not unusual to see an umpire when you crash into the wall if you don't maintain contact. And he hit the ball almost instantaneously from catching it. And now he flips it the other way, wind knocking it down. Again, that's not where you want to hit it. It just isn't going to go anywhere there. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Still 2-1. So, I'd like to thank Sweet Buzz, Nick Drabel. Nick also a member of Moneyline. And, of course, Sweet Buzz, one of our anchor partners on the Chicago Summer Series. They sell infused products, so if you're an adult, check them out or talk to Nick at a tournament or a softball field. I'm sure he would be more than happy to let you know what they got going on. And if you're a corporate sponsor and you'd like to become one of our anchor partners on the Summer Series or get involved with any type of corporate relationship with the SSA, feel free to email us at info@ssasoftball.com. That ball hit the lamp pole. Be just like the natural. So, coach over here is saying, man, I want to make sure the lights didn't come off. Bryce hit it good, but not that good. Takes that pitch a little deep, full count. Craig Jackson on deck. Craig didn't want to take the coin flip, but he did, and he won it. So there's a little fly ball, right fielder right on the spot, makes the play, so Lou handled that easily. So 1 out now. Craig Jackson going to take his cuts. and they called that a strike, a little bit of a flat type of fastball. Now Craig, a little overhand cut, and Nicky Marchese got there but couldn't hold on. Kind of went into a little bit of a slide. I don't think it hit him in the hands. I think it got just a little bit below his hands and hit in his lower stomach. Came squirting out there, so one out base runner. Bryce Wood's going to courtesy run over here, and Latrell Giles comes up. Well, it comes and goes. It seems like the wind might get to 15 or 20 miles an hour, and then it's subsiding. We haven't had any ridiculous gusts. And there he grounds it fair right over the bag. Wood's going to go to third just underneath the tag. And Giles followed him right up to second. And a lot of times younger outfielders will look at third and make that throw there. A lot of times the hitter has to make sure the runner goes. So here's Cliff Wingfield. A lot of times you're better off coming up and throwing a strike to second and keeping it first and third and holding that double play in order. But Marchese thought he had a shot at Bryce, but Bryce made it easily. And Cliff hits a short pop-up. Center fielder makes the catch. The lefty throws, and it got through the catcher, and a run scores. And Giles goes to third. The lefty made a good throw. The catcher went down on a knee. Sal and went right through the 5-hole. Had Sal been able to catch that ball or keep it in front, the run wouldn't have scored. I'm not going to blame the center fielder because it was a pretty good throw. Here's Robert Lewis. Woo! Chance to give 10 deep their first lead of the ball game. And Wu just hammers it over Nicky Marchese. One run is in. Lewis is going to hustle into third. They're going to send him. Play at the plate, not in time. And just like that, 10 deep takes a 4-2 lead. And that's a deceptive ball for a couple of reasons. Wu, that was like a very hard overhand cut. And what that means is he hit down on that ball. He had a little underspin on it. Here's Willie Fisher, a little ground ball, and that sneaks through. So when you get that underspin, and Fisher just kept running, turned that single into a double. So what that means when you get that underspin is the ball doesn't sink. It'll stay up there. Factor in a 10, 12, 15 mile an hour breeze, and that ball just kind of rode the breeze, stayed up top, and got over the top. KJ, a little ground ball to Reese Miles, and that'll do it. But in the bottom of the third, 10 deep pushes 3 across, and they take the lead. So we're going to head to the top of the fourth. New ball game, new leader, 10 deep. So first time in the ball game that Funk has trailed. Now Funk is Funk 2 in the first. They've gone dry second and third inning. So it's going to be Reese Miles, Chris Aylwood, and Sonny Bertucci. This is a nice facility with the turf. Little ground ball knocked down by JoJo, and he gets the out at first. So that'll bring Chris up. Of course, if anybody from the Chicago Cubs are watching, they did a great job many years ago when they put the turf in. And this has been well over 7 years ago. And if anybody over there at the Cubs would like to come out and maybe re-turf it, I'm sure they'd appreciate it here. So here's Chris. And Chris hammers it over to shortstop. Barney tried to get up, but just couldn't make the catch. So one out base. So Chris looking for a courtesy runner, and Reese Miles is going to jump in and courtesy run. Brings up Sonny with Sal on deck. So we're approaching the halfway mark. Not quite there. Again, Funk trying to rediscover a little bit of offense. And there's a little overhand pop, just foul though. As it drifted foul down that left field line, and now that sun's tucked behind a little thicker cloud coverage. So with that sun heating things up a little bit and a little drop in temperature, that's why they were saying that there might be a little rain this afternoon. They were predicting around 5. Now Steve Rodriguez was hoping that they were maybe going to beat the rain and get out of here. And there's going to be a double play. Nicely done there by Javon, the shortstop. Reese Miles got a little out over his skis there. As you can see the play there. Good strong throw, double play. So we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, halfway through, 10 deep, leading this one 4-2. So it's going to be JoJo Reynolds, Eric Domingo, and then Javon Barney. So if you're Funk, you're just trying to keep the score here. And again, JoJo already has a home run in this game over that short porch. Let's see if he tries to pick up dinger number 2 in the ball game. And there he goes opposite field, but he drove it. Center fielder got there. Again, he hit it opposite field, but right into that cross breeze. That's a ball, if he pulls it, it's probably going to carry out past the fence in that open all-you-can-get area. But he went opposite field, and the wind just knocked it down. So here's Eric Dominguez. Reggie and Maurice do a good job of running this club. There's a ground ball, and it squirts through for a base hit. Our best wishes. I always get Maurice and Reggie, but I think Reggie, I want to say, just had some health issues. Supposed to be getting released from the hospital. Of course, so we wish him the best. And if I mixed it up and it's Maurice and not Reggie, I apologize. But for the life of me, I can never keep them straight. So I'm not quite sure what the delay is here. KJ was going to come out and courtesy run for Dominguez. And I think they wanted to know why JoJo wasn't doing it, but I think that they, if I'm not mistaken, they ran for JoJo as well earlier. So here comes the shortstop, Barney. And there's a little pop-up toward the screen. He can't make the catch. And Jim, the first baseman, who's a little, I believe, related to Chris, the third baseman. His brother was like, Jim, giving him the hands to the sideline, go get it. New life for him. They go to second. They get one, but the throw wild. Out at second on the fielder's choice. Reese Miles did the best he could. Had a base runner bearing down on him. So Randy Johnson, could be Rudy, having a little trouble reading that first name. Bryce Wood's on deck. And that ball's going to be way out across the street off of a stoop. And I think that ball might be rolling up 19th Street. You know, back in the day in Berwyn, they got some buildings that are, you know, next to the field. And if you hit the building, they called it the mope rule, and they called you out. And they might have to go to a rule like that, because I got to tell you, that's pretty hard, the angle that ball was hit foul. I never quite understood it. And that's a soft fly ball. Center fielder makes the catch. So we're going to head to top of the fifth. Deep, leading 4-2. I believe he does play with High Y. This is not an actual rostered event. Way too early in the summer for that. So there might be a few guys here. Yeah. 4-2. You guys. So it's going to be Sal, Enzo, and John. So just talking to a few people when I got here and in between, Sal punches that left fielder over by that wall, can't make the catch. As he kind of ran into a fan sitting there, bumped into some guy's legs and kind of dropped the ball. So we were talking with people here and just kind of chewing the fat. And it should be a fun year. I think everybody's excited and wants to get back out there and wants to get the season underway. And I was saying at the first broadcast today that it's nice just being out here and broadcasting outside. We still got a lot of indoor softball that we're going to be showing you. And there's Sal now. That ball just really hung up as he hit underneath it. Again, that underspin. And with that wind blowing in like that, it tends to keep the ball up in the air a little bit. So first out, Intentional Sports did start their playoffs yesterday. Steve Rodriguez forbid me to go. He said he wanted me well rested to come out today out here at Harrison. I believe April 1st, which I believe is Monday. is going to be the kickoff. There's a towering fly ball. Center fielder is there, out number 2. It's going to be the beginning of the 16-inch Rosemont Dome, men's 16-inch. So we'll get out there. Wednesday will be 50 and over championship. And there's a little flare down the line and way out of play. So we'll be out for the 50 and over championship game, 10 o'clock Wednesday. And we will be at Intentional Sports next Fridays. They'll have the semifinal and championship of their playoffs. So a lot of preseason softball coverage still coming up. Well, you got these 2 teams, Born Divine and 40 Deuce. Those are the final 4 in the winner's bracket. This is a consolation type setup. So those are the 4 still alive in the winner's bracket. So we head to the bottom of the 5th, still 4-2. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure who's still alive in the consolation bracket. The 10 teams that started out today: Sandlot, 10 Deep, Born Divine, Beast Mode, BWO, Funk, Steady Drizzle, Los Barachos, Bullies, and 40 Deuce. Those were the ball clubs that were invited to come out here and participate in this Coats and Blankets fundraiser. And I am happy to announce Steve did a good job. A lot of teams brought a lot of coats and blankets that are going to be donated to the less fortunate. So here's Bryce Woods leading off this bottom of the 5th. Then it'll be Craig Jackson and back to the top and Latrell Giles. And there's a high pop-up. Nicky Marchese comes in, puts it away. Yeah, that's true. I mean, this past Thanksgiving, it was so bad I actually had to kind of leave the park. And of course, it was cold when we were up in Delavan, Wisconsin for the Ice Bowl tournament. So Craig Jackson and Marchese comes over and makes that play, 2 up, 2 down. So I'm a little surprised we're not seeing a little more offense. Both teams have been relatively solid defensively, and both pitchers doing a good job of not really letting guys barrel up. Here's Latrell Giles. He's got a pair of hits, and he goes big overhand cut, way out of play. So a lot of noise coming from the other field, as apparently with Born Divine in the field, they must have made a nice defensive play because they seem like they're very excited down there. And Giles got him to bite on a fastball. Reese Miles makes the catch. So we're going to head on into the top of the 6th. Low scoring contest here. Semifinals of the winner's bracket. Between Funk and 10 Deep. Funk has not scored since the 1st. So it's going to be Lou JJ and Zach. Of course, it could be JT. Having a little trouble reading Sal's writing. Been a snappy ball game as we just haven't had a lot of hitting. And this is the diamond that the championship game would be on. And there he walks the dog right on the chalk. And that ball's going to rattle around in the corner. And that's going to allow him to get to third. Stand-up lead-off triple. So he walked the dog and hit the chalk. Got to the replay a hair late, but you can see it rattling around. Great job. Stand-up triple. So nobody out here. Now, if you're JJ here, you're looking for a hit. He drove it. Center fielder's there. We'll drive in the run. Game gets a little closer. But again, in that spot, you really want him to go for a hit. And then if he doesn't get the hit, then you rely on your pitcher, Zach, to ensure the run gets in. Because the idea is you want to maybe roll up a crooked number if you can. But they do pick up a run. They pull within one. And again, if you're a manager, you're not upset. You could tell he was trying to go the other way. Just hit it a little too fat, and there's a little swing. Bryce Woods, good range, cruised over. So back to the top of the lineup and Nick Marchese. 4-3 ball game here. That is the first run that Funk scored since the first. That ball off the plate. Again, both pitchers have done a great job. They've controlled the game. They're not walking anybody. They're working quick. And Nick Marchese drove it into the alley. That's going to be a home run, folks. The way Nicky runs, you can forget about it. Two-out solo blast ties the game. We'll show you the replay on that. You can see he hit it right where I was talking about, other side of the fence, between the building. And the way he runs, no chance that you were going to get him. So new ball game here, top of the sixth, all knotted at 4. Brings up Luke Fiore. Now, if you had to handicap the game, you might still think 10 deep might be a little favored just because they got the hammer. And there's a sky-high pop-up to KJ. Puts it away. So you would think that 10 deep might still be favored in the ball game because, one, they got 6 outs to 3 left in their arsenal. But more importantly, and they do have the hammer, but more importantly, I think, when you look at their lineup with Lewis, Fisher, KJ, JoJo, these guys are all going to get at-bats here. We're in the 6th inning, and they've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those guys are going to be guaranteed to get swings. And with that short porch, that favors 10 deep. So it's up to Zach Coco here to keep the handcuffs on these guys, the big hitters. So 4-4 ball game. Triple, and there's a base hit up the middle for Cliff Wingate. So if you're 10 deep, that's what you want to do. They had a little team huddle. You kind of want to circle the wagons, find a way to push 1 or 2, and then get 3 outs and just wait for the championship. And if this game should end, we'll take that long walk and try to give you the end of the Born Divine 40 deuce game, because that's the team that would be playing the winner of this one. And there's a walk to Wu. I think Zach was a little worried. And the first two hitters here in the bottom of the sixth have reached. And that will drive you as a manager crazy. Again, Wu, a big, strong guy, homered his last time up. But problem here is you're digging a hole, because Fisher, a pretty good hitter, KJ, pretty good hitter, and JoJo Reynolds, pretty good hitter. And between Fisher and Reynolds in particular, you're talking about guys that can really put up. And there's that's going to be infield fly rule. And Reese Miles tried to play some games there, but nobody was buying it. Of course, on an infield fly rule, the hitter's automatically out. Here's KJ. Again, KJ is dangerous, but JoJo could put a 3-spot up there. And there's a high overhand cut, and Marchese gets there for out number 2. KJ just got a little anxious there. He didn't let the ball quite come down. That ball come down a couple of more inches, he'd have been able to get more on top and hit a line drive. Instead, he was fully extended over his head. And now you got trouble right here with JoJo Reynolds. And that pitch is outside. You don't want to make a mistake inside. High towering fly ball, but foul. That didn't quite have the distance anyway. That didn't have quite the distance. Had it been fair, I think it would have been caught right near the backstop. But see, that's an interesting problem too, because you see how the backstop there is slanted. So not only is that a short porch, but now you got a backstop that's like coming even closer. So all parks have their own unique characteristics, and this one is about as quirky as it gets. And we always talk about how short the dome fence is. Straightaway right field might be actually shorter than what we see up in Rosemont. So 2 strikes now, 2-2 count. I think if you're Zach Coco, you got him. He tried to climb the ladder. Bullet, though, knocked down by the second baseman, and they're going to get out from it. Good job by Zach Coco. He had plenty of room to play with there on a 2-2 count. He threw one way up in the air. JoJo did hit it hard, but right at the second baseman, who's had a pretty good day at second base. He's been looking at a couple of hard hit balls. So tie game as we head to the 7th inning. And the sun peeks out a little bit. So it's going to be Reese Miles, Chris Elwood, and Sonny Bertucci. 3, 4, 5 coming up. Looking ahead to the 10 deep 7th, they're going to have 7, 8, 9. And Reese swings, and he just can't walk the dog. let that ball get a little too low. That barrel was pointed down toward the ground, had that spin, and with this cross breeze was pushed well foul. Certainly would have been trouble had it landed fair. As we got ourselves a nail biter here at Harrison Park. There's a little slow roller coming in as Fisher. He spikes the throw, but KJ, one of the best, read the hop correctly and made the play. So leadoff man down, here comes Chris. Again, Willie had a lot of time there, and I guess if you're KJ, the only good thing about that hop is it was far enough in front, and it was spiked enough to where he got a decent bell-tie bounce. Aylwood right to the short center, and he makes KJ work. So both infielders making KJ work, but he bails both of them out. That brings up Sonny Bertucci. And, you know, a lot of times you'll see first basemen, and they will, and there's a little deflection. Bardney, though, makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Any kind of a run wins it. 4-10 deep. So I've seen first basemen, they want to give their fielders the old fisheye when they throw a ball in the dirt. When I was running teams, I used to tell my first baseman, what are you getting hot about? That's in the job description, is you're supposed to be bailing those guys out. And KJ, to his credit, understands that. You don't see him giving his infielders grief if they don't make a perfect throw. And if you're a first baseman, you don't want to give a guy grief. You want him to be free and easy and know that they can just fire it over there and that you're going to catch it. And I got to tell you, if as an infielder, and I was a short center, and there's a rocket, and Jim goes up and snags it. So that looked like it was going to be a hit, but he gets robbed by the first baseman on that. A little bit of a bobble, but he hung in there. So Domingo flies out. Here's Javon, flies out. So brings up Johnson here. Might be looking at a pinch hitter. It is a pinch hitter. So 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. We're all tied at 4. And this game right now appears as if we might be heading to extra innings. And there's a little chopper. It's safe. I believe that is the right call. Reese Miles jumped in front of the shortstop there. And as a result, clearly safe. So Wu will be running on the swing. Looks like there's another pinch hitter. Any kind of a stretch single, it's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, we got people walking across the field. And I'm not quite sure why they would be doing that, as we're in the middle of a ball game here. There's actually 2 games going on. And that That might be the steady drizzle group. They're usually a little bit more respectful for what's going on. And they just walked right across the field with 2 games going on. So 2 outs here. Got some high drama going on. Craig Johnson might be on deck, but one thing's for sure, you don't want to. So I'm not sure what's going on. Now it's. Well, they ran for Barney earlier. So now they're complaining about who the courtesy runner is. So 2-2 count here, 2 outs. Obviously, you'd like to get the hitter out if you're the pitcher on this pitch. You don't want to go 3-2. And there's a line drive. Miles makes the catch. Free softball at Harrison Park as we head to the 8th. All tied at 4. And it's going to be Sal, Enzo, and John coming up for Funk. I believe in the next inning it would be Craig Johnson in the top for 10 deep. Yeah, it kind of makes sense now that you're telling me that, Amalia, because we had that problem last stream we did, and then today we had the weird thing with the focus, so I cleared the catch, forced the stoppage of the app, and rebooted the phone, so now it seems like that app is back to functioning normally. So somebody tell me what the title says. Hopefully it says 2025 LBSC Coats and Blankets Invitational. So here comes Sal. Top of the 8th here. Trip to the championship on the line. Little chopper. In comes the short center, not in time. And that time KJ couldn't pick it up, but I don't think that they would have got him anyway. Yeah, Sal clearly beyond there. So leadoff man on for Enzo. And they tried to pick him off close, but not in time. And just barely. And again, if you're Sal, you don't want to get picked off. And that was a pretty good pickoff play there by. And if you're JoJo, you can't. He's a little too focused here on Sal. You got to get the hitter. And that pitch is, I guess, a strike. Might be a full count again. Nobody out here. And there's a ground ball. Barney over to Dominguez. Double play. They roll it. Nicely done there. Good job by the short center, Domingo. And good hustle there by Enzo. He was trying to get there, but that all started with the good feed from Barney. It brings up the first baseman, John Alwyn, and he lines out. So we'll see if 10 Deep gets the juice. They turn a double play, a line drive snag there. Great defense. We head to the bottom of the 8th. And we'll see if they got any pinch hitters left. It's hard to keep track there that last inning. So there is going to be a pinch hitter here, and I believe this pinch hitter is for Craig Johnson. And then it should be Latrell Giles. So we're looking at bottom top situation. Kind of took a couple of steps up, like he maybe wanted to poke this into the right field corner. And I tell you, both these pitchers doing a really good job. Can't stress that enough. Now he slaps it, little bobble, throw to first in time. So nicely done there by the shortstop, Enzo. And again, he took a little peek there. And if you're an infielder, you got to know the hitter and how much time you have to throw. Enzo, ball jumped up and bit him a little bit, but it landed right at his feet, and he knew he had time. And he went and he just made a good, strong throw. And here's Latrell off the pitcher. Base hit. Winning run on first base. That ball pounded off of the pitcher. Reese Miles on the charge. Couldn't handle it as he was trying to catch and throw in one motion. And it brings up Cliff Wingfield. Now the only thing is, if you're Cliff, a couple of times he's worked the center of the field and the other side. And with the runner on first when lefties do that. And there he tried to turn and burn way foul. So he got way out in front of that. So I like what he was trying to do there. If you hit a ground ball the other way, they can go the short way. You see Latrell with the big aggressive secondary. There's a short pitch. He hits a fly ball. And right fielder, a little bit of a circle route, but he got there. 2 outs now, brings up the very dangerous Wu. And again, as we talk about all the time, the best ball is a 12-foot high line drive. So Born Divine is in the championship that will play the winner of this game for all the marbles. And again, if you're Robert Luce, we talk all the time, he doesn't need to beat anybody over the top. If he focuses and just strokes a line drive into a gap, chances are Giles going to score with 2 outs. As I like to call it, the strut single, and he walks him. And that's going to put the winning run a little bit closer to home for Willie Fisher. And now if you're Willie Fisher, you just need a base hit. You don't even need to necessarily do anything spectacular with the base hit. So Born Divine having a pretty good day. They're in the championship. they'll be playing one of these two teams as we are in the bottom of the 8th, all tied at 4. And Willie slaps it at Mize, and now the runner's going to try to score, and he will. Game over. Game over. Reese Miles couldn't handle it, but when the ball bounced away from him, the runner just kept on going, scored easily for the win. So you see they're shaking hands. It's going to be an all-Washington Park final. 10 deep will play Born Divine. That game was scheduled at 4 o'clock. We are about an hour behind. We will have it for you live right here on the SSA Facebook page and various other socials. So thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Sweet Buzz, the SSA, this is Gio saying we love you. We got a championship game coming.